Hello and welcome to What the Tech from Boast, where we talk with some of the brilliant minds behind new and exciting tech initiatives to learn what it takes to tackle technological uncertainty and eventually change the world. I'm Paul Davenport, Boast's resident tech journalist, and today I'm thrilled to welcome to the show Sebastien Hiscock, co-founder of Purelend. At Purelend, Sebastien and his team are reimagining banking technology, specifically mortgage loans, by fully automating manual checks and underwriting to remove the hours and days of frustration that traditionally gets involved in funding a mortgage. It's an incredible mission that's built on Sebastian's impressive career in the tech space, leading software development at some of Canada's most innovative tech and finance companies. Needless to say, he's an asset to the Calgary tech scene, and I can't wait to pick his brain on his career today and what's next for Purelend. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, Sebastien. Sebastien, again, I just did a little read through. That was my scripting, but I want to hear from you. Tell us about Sebastien. How'd you get into the tech scene? What drives you? What gets you up in the morning? And yeah, tell us how you got into this space.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a great intro. Thank you. I obviously did some research.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started my career as a software developer here in Calgary at WestJet. So pretty large enterprise organization, very much the opposite of the very much the opposite of like the startup experience. But that was where I kind of cut my teeth. They took some chances on me when I was younger as a junior developer, so I owe them a lot. I sort of had my first I call it like a fake startup experience while I worked at WestJet. They started Swoop in, I want to say 2017 is when I went there. So essentially like a subsidiary, ultra low cost carrier to try to compete with some of the American like Spirit Airlines.
I was going to say Spirit comes to mind. God help us.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, we formed like a small team, like 3 engineers, some product people, some like lots of operations staff, of course, as well. But it was like a pretty small crew. And we went and like got our own office. We had complete free reign to like choose new technology. We weren't bound by any of the like constraints of the tech at the larger enterprise. And so it really like felt like a startup.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have any like skin in the game per se. We knew we had jobs back at WestJet that we could go back to. But that was kind of what changed things for me, at least changed my perspective about like what kind of company do I want to work at? Like, what do I want to be involved in? Going back to WestJet after that experience at Swoop, I had a bit of a difficult time readjusting to the just the size and scale of everything. So it was pretty shortly after that I left there and joined a company called Neo Financial. Big name in Calgary's tech scene today.
Big name, yeah. Sure. Oh yeah, we know Neo.
I've got the water bottle.
I think I either have a hat or a water bottle at home from Neo. And again, I'm the American on the Boast team. I don't even know how I get these things. It's hilarious though, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was very early there. I think I was like, first of 10 employees, in like middle of 2019. And that was a true to form startup experience where we really had the chance to build everything from nothing, and was amazing to see like how quickly that company scaled from like a very small team to a very large organization. I spent about 5 or 6 years there. Was sort of the principal engineer and architect for a while. I worked on ledger systems, the reward systems, fraud detection for transactions. So this is kind of where I cut my teeth in fintech. And learned a lot about what it takes to start a company and the dedication that's required to do that. So a lot of respect for the founding team there. And learned a ton at Neo. So that's also where I met my co-founders at Purelend. So Lucas Shear and Wayne Kainu. The 3 of us were all sort of early at Neo. Wayne and Lucas were kind of involved in the mortgage business a little more closely than I was. But they basically built Neo's mortgage arm, created a national brokerage that eventually turned into a lender. And that's sort of where the seed for the idea of Purelend sort of came from. I think, they saw that like there's so many document intensive processes. They're so manual. People are spending hours or days like poring over income statements and bank statements, like tracing down payment, like deposits, verifying income. And so not only like is there all this manual effort spent on document review, but then if you're a mortgage broker doing that, you're going to package that deal up and send it to a lender. The lender does all the same stuff. And then if that lender works with aggregators or insurers that back those loans, they have audit access to come in and do all the same stuff again. So you've got manual like review of all these documents occurring at all these different stages in the mortgage life cycle. And so that was, I think, really what drove us to like create something to try to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And we all just liked working together as well. And
That's the best part, honestly. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, that's hopefully that answers the question. Bit of a personal journey for me from enterprises into startups, but yeah, this is where I want to stay for sure.
Oh, that is so cool. It's an incredible journey, to be honest, Sebastian. And I think that point about you really like working with these guys, I think that's kind of the key ingredient here. I do want to dig into like the enterprise versus the startup even deeper, but
Sure.
I think that is something too. I was just talking with Omar and it was a very similar thing. It's like I've had experience in many different kinds of companies. I've touched a lot of different of the industries up here in Calgary. It's that I love working with these people and I want to keep building that because again, it's your family, more or less. It's corny to say that no job is an actual family, but you're going to be in the trenches with these people when you're building a
Yeah.
startup. And you know from your time at Neo, huge company. I think we have our logo on the website. I think we did shred for you guys at
Yes,
some
you
point.
did.
Yep. So
Sure.
love to hear it. You guys have, I mean, Neo has exploded. So like that is just kudos. Big. You should be very proud of that. So happy to hear that. I'm going to recap a little bit more too, like you were saying. I think the Swoop scenario is a unique one because like you were saying too, like you have that security that it is enterprise backed, but you're very much in that startup mentality.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Boast, we're not new. We've been around almost 15 years. Actually, I think maybe even 16 years at this point, but we still act like a startup and we're very comfortable and we can take some risks because we're a little established, but we haven't lost that scrappiness.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people really like still working at Boast and people stay for the long haul. And I think it would get boring if I didn't still have that ability to like again talk with founders who are in the same scenario, but work with a team that likes getting into the grind and really likes embracing it. So
Yeah, that's impressive, honestly, like
yeah,
that you're able to kind of maintain that culture. It's, I think, one of the more difficult things to do as you scale the company. Like
absolutely.
there was an interesting talk that I saw once about, the companies that are most successful are sort of able to like manage these different like life cycles of their products all at the same time. So
Mhm.
you might be an established company with established products and like a
Yeah.
large user base, and you maybe can't take some of the same risks that you would on that product as a startup. So you sort of need to operate in like extraction mode where you're, making small changes,
Oh yeah.
extracting ROI out of that existing
Yep.
thing, keeping the lights on. But if you can also at the same time maintain a culture where you're exploring new products and building new things, and you're not like shutting down those people that love to be like ideators in your business,
Hmm.
if you can kind of manage both of those things at once, then you've sort of found the sweet spot. But it's a very hard thing to do.
Oh, absolutely. And again, going back to the Neo of it all too, that is, again, you found some complementary solutions from the core fintech product that guys had originally, and being able to recognize where the opportunities are. Again, in the finance space, we know, again, I'm the American on the team. There's a lot of legislative headwinds. Let's just be diplomatic about it and
Yeah,
call it that. That could, like, 1 year make the value of your solution not what it was the year before. And it's really hard to predict and be up against all of that. But if you can find other solves that are within your skill set and are within your existing client base's kind of like problem area, it's amazing. It's win win win. Like I got a shout out Boast. We're known as the Shred Company, but we're doing IDMTC. We're doing the provincial credits. We're doing state level credits down in the US too. So it's more than just the Shred, which is kind of like the core because it's the most valuable program. We're trying to make sure that we can help people at every stop and also just like leave no stone unturned because we like startups. We want to see them grow. We want to support these teams because we like the people we're working with too. We view ourselves as an extension of the team. Again, I won't pick your brain and case study you on what it was like working with Bruce if you did work with us in the past, but I just see a lot of simpatico in that. So wanted to call that out because I think it's really cool.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Purelend, I'd love to hear. We talked a little bit about how it came together. I gave that brief intro that told a little bit about what you do, but tell me specifically about some of the customers and some of the problems that you're solving. I mean, we talked about kind of the minutia and the repeated efforts and the redundancies across the whole mortgage application process, let alone actually getting the loans. But dig into a little bit more, maybe of some of the success stories that you've had so far, or just maybe some of the customer delight that you've been able to deliver.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we started with a prototype essentially
Mm.
last summer, and I don't think it was probably like within a week of having a functioning prototype that we were talking to customers. So we're pretty fortunate, I think, to have Wayne, who is very well connected in the Canadian
Go
mortgage
Wayne.
industry,
Yeah.
to sort of put us in touch with the right people to be talking to really make sure that we're understanding their problems and get prototypes in their hands very quickly. The early feedback that we got was kind of our first signal that like, okay, we're onto something, where we would demo the prototype and then the customer would say like, okay, like I'll take it. Can I have this? Like,
Yeah.
can I use it? And so we had that reaction so much that we did actually just start letting people use the prototype, with the understanding that like, hey, this is going to change pretty rapidly. So that was a pretty good feeling for sure. That like, okay, the core thesis of what this technology could do was heard by customers, mortgage brokers, like almost immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, the brokers that like from that point onward that have been most successful with the tool have kind of like understood that this isn't just like a piece of software that you sort of plug into your existing workflow. We're sort of asking brokers to change the way that they approach their workflow entirely.
Mm.
And when you look at where technology and AI is going, the brokers that are going to be successful are the ones that are able to spend more time with customers, like with their borrowers,
Absolutely.
building those like human connections and relationships, offering this like premium sort of like white glove service that's very high touch. And if you don't have that, and you're spending most of your time, doing back end processes, sorting through documents or whatever, like you're not going to continue to be successful as a broker in this country. So that's where we've seen, I think, the best adoption from brokerages that really want to spend more time working with people and less time doing like back office tasks.
Absolutely.
Like, let the machines do what the machines are good at.
Exactly.
And let's let the humans, build the relationships, right? So so like I said, we've had like wholehearted adoption, I think, from brokers that sort of see the industry that way.
Mhm.
And it's just been amazing to see like loyal customers that signed up when we were just a prototype,
Right.
continued through to today, expand their usage. A lot of our growth is like word of mouth as well. So it's pretty impressive that those early customers have gone on to like become advocates as well for us. So we get a lot of referrals coming in too. So yeah, it's
I was just gonna say, I'm like, when you can pull in brand evangelists before the brand is even taken off, and just because you're delivering such a powerful solution to them,
yeah,
that's incredible. I think that's kind of like the goal of every startup or every new company too. Let's make something that just you don't even it sells itself. The people are so delighted that they are going to be telling their friends, but also just changing how they work. I think that's something that you mentioned that I really want to call back on because the AI of it all.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's about efficiencies. Obviously, it's about streamlining processes, taking away that busy work that's not actually part of your expertise. Like you said, they need to be talking to people. Brokers need to be having the human relationships one to one. That's something that AI is never going to replace. And we were talking before this, like Boast has AI in our name. We have it in our URL. Sure, there is AI there, but it's really that human expertise that makes our solution a winning solution. And I think similarly, you guys are making sure that the people can focus on what they're really good at. The brokers can really not have to worry about the back office work, really focus on actually having outcomes for their customers. So I love that. It's making sure that they have the superpowers they need, and then all the not fun stuff and all the repetitive work gets kind of taken off their shoulders. So
yeah,
I
exactly.
really like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an easier sell, but not to like knock any companies that are building tech like this, but there is a lot of tech for customer facing interactions, like replacing human interaction with like chatbots or like
Mhm.
AI like over voice and things like that. And like those are great, but like when I think about the type of interactions that I want to have, like
Exactly.
I don't really want to have a phone call with a chatbot
No.
or with an AI or a chat conversation with a bot. When
Your bot talk to my bot.
yeah, like when I'm about to make what's probably the biggest, like scariest purchase of my life, like that's where brokers provide value. So the more we can enable them to like focus on that and take care of the rest, I think, the more successful they'll continue to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm even just thinking too, I have to pull in my American side a little bit, but just like the housing market in the States, specifically in the Boston area, is completely wild right now. It has been for my entire life, actually. So it's not like a new occurrence, but aside from even just like the inventory being low, the competition is so steep. And I think that brokers really they're spinning a lot of plates right now. And I know just personally from folks who I know at home in the field, they need all the time back that they can absolutely get to actually deliver for their customers. So again, it's B2B to C, I think,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, because you are getting that downstream effect that's really broadening just outside of the brokerage of it all. It's
Yeah.
the actual people who are making these huge buying decisions. I'm a renter and I wish I had less paperwork when I'm actually applying for things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. But now I'd love to know too, you mentioned again, it's largely been word of mouth, but what are your plans for the future? What are the plans for growth? What is your trajectory looking like? Like, tell me what's on the roadmap for Purelend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we're growing about 20% month over month right now, which
Mhm.
is great. Like we'd love to try to, maintain or increase that growth trajectory for sure. Like I said, we sell the same product to, well, it's not exactly the same, but the same core product to mortgage brokers and to lenders. Our brokerage growth we've sort of set up as much of like an automated pipeline as possible, where you can visit our website, you can sign up, choose a plan that's kind of the right size for your brokerage. We've got annual discounts, right, that help us with some predictable revenue.
Yep.
So that's great. But more or less, we're trying to dial in that brokerage growth channel as much as possible to be like sort of self-serve. Lender growth is a lot more hands-on. Those are
Mhm.
like much longer sales cycles. We usually start lenders on like a pilot program where we're doing weekly check-ins with them,
Yep.
answering questions or fixing any issues that they find, customizing things. And then once we get out of that pilot phase, then the actual phase of like commercial negotiation can take, a fair bit of time as well.
Yeah.
Um, so that's where I think we need a lot of like human focus. And we have a job posting up right now for a head of client success that's going to be focused on those types of large accounts. Not just like getting those deals across the line, but like figuring out what happens after. Like how do
Yeah.
we make sure that this larger customer is like successfully integrating us into that workflow, and getting the most out of the tool, and make sure that we're staying responsive to their needs when like new ideas come up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really what we're looking at in the next, hopefully next couple of weeks. We'll have somebody on
Yeah.
board that can help with that. We are also hiring like somebody for more like outbound sales
Mhm.
that would probably be more focused on the broker side
Got it.
to help. Like I said, word of mouth has been great, but uh, yeah, it's also helpful for us to like attend conferences and
Yeah.
pound the pavement a little bit
Oh,
and
yeah.
try to get in front of some of these brokers. So hiring in both those roles to try to push our or reach our goals for growth.
Yeah.
In terms of the product, we've got a pretty ambitious roadmap for the next, I'd say 6 months or so. This
Okay.
is probably like the furthest we've ever planned.
Mhm.
We're usually a little bit like hand to mouth with like customer feedback and trying to be nimble and build things as needed. But we have a couple of like larger scale product initiatives that are
Nice.
in the works over the next 6 months. I can't talk about some of them.
All
There's
good.
some exciting stuff. And then like longer term, what we're trying to do is like bridge the gap between brokers and lenders as much
Yeah.
as possible. Like the redundancy that I talked about of like the broker does all the same checks that the lender does, that the insurer does. Like, how do we like close that gap so a lender that's receiving a deal from a broker that uses Purelend feels comfortable that, hey, this has been verified.
Yeah.
There's some like immutable way maybe to check that like, hey, these documents haven't been tampered with. The package that I'm receiving is exactly, as it was when the broker initially loaded it into Purelend. So we can actually like reduce the need to, even for us to run the same reports in multiple places. So
Absolutely.
it's yeah, a lot of goals around like bringing those two groups together. There's this like unique advantage that like the big five banks and larger FIs have. When they operate a mortgage business, they sort of do this vertical integration of
Mhm.
if you go get like an RBC mortgage or
Yeah.
whatever, they'll have a brokerage operating within the bank, and then lender underwriters kind of all vertically integrated. So they're, generally a lot more efficient. They're not doubling up on all the same work that would happen if you've got a separate brokerage
Yeah.
from a lender. So we're trying to bring that vertical integration to like the rest of the industry so that you can all take advantage of what big banks have been able to do
Yeah.
with that kind of vertical integration. So those are sort of some of our longer term roadmap goals right now. And like I said, we're 6 months for us is long term. So
Th-
yeah,
That is exciting. And again, it's like you're creating a single source of truth. I think
yeah,
that's actually going to be beneficial across the board too, just because, again, when things are super manual too, like the details might get fudged up. I think if everybody's just referencing the same point, I know that's an oversimplification, but just the value of that, I
yeah,
think,
it's
is
a good way to think about it.
awesome
Like, yeah,
because you're all looking at the same details. It's the same details that you all need, from the lender side to the broker side to even just the people applying. And if that's an accurate and like bulletproof source of truth, all the better. And
yeah,
we can speed these things along. I love it. And even going back to the point about like your customer success or customer delivery role that you're hiring from, I think again that is critical. We have a huge customer success team up here in Calgary, and we learn about how we can enhance the product.
yeah.
So yes, we want to make sure that we're giving that white glove service and that we're hand in hand with them, but it's an opportunity for us to evolve too. Like we're not talking at them, we're trying to listen as much as possible, and it changes our product roadmap all the time. So I think that's going to be a critical role. I'm very excited for you to fill.
For
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah,
We've been like fairly successful at doing that so far, but we're like a
yeah,
very small team, right?
right.
You've got the three founders that I mentioned. We hired our first employee, Lewis, in November, and we're bringing an intern on later this month. So very small crew.
Yeah.
We are fortunate to be reaching the size where it gets harder to listen to that many customers.
Hmm.
And we're doing the best we can, but bringing some more people on to make sure that we like always keep those lines of communication
Oh,
open and like don't forget like who we're building this for, why
absolutely.
we're building this company is extremely important. Like we can't lose sight of that for sure.
That is fantastic. No, it's so exciting. And again, I think that the fact that you're solving a multi-pronged issue across different, I don't want to get into my go-to-market jargon, ICP, because again, lenders and brokers, different needs, but same data a lot
Yeah,
of the time. So you're solving those problems across different roles, across different responsibilities. And again, it's very like human, I think what you're doing too, because it's property. It's a big decision. It's something that people can't take lightly. And so if you can make it not a headache and something that they maybe look back on, I mean, financial, you don't smile when you think back on spending things,
no,
but if you can not think back on like, oh my God, I would block that out of my brain, like Men in Black me, so I don't have to see this ever again. I think that's a win-win.
yeah,
And again, I'm in fintech, Boast is, so it's not the sexiest when you're talking dollars and cents, but I think efficiency does get me excited. And I think that that is something that AI, to the extent that it is the full bore AI that's complemented by human expertise, it can really help unlock. So this is fantastic. Sebastian, this has been a total pleasure. I cannot thank you enough for joining me. You got an exciting 6 months on the roadmap for you. And I guess before we sign off formally, I mentioned on the last episode with Omar that I am actually here on behalf of Boast, but as a guest of Tech Thursday. What's it like working with this community and working at Thin Air Labs and just this little ecosystem that we have just in this office?
yeah. It's pretty incredible,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah. I mean, just working with Phil,
Yeah.
even just like nearby,
Yeah.
is something special for sure. He's got quite a bit of charisma and brings a lot of excitement to the
Oh, yeah.
office for sure. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I could tell like when I first got here, kind of like in between the time that I was at Neo and trying to figure out what to do next, uh, just coming into the space and kind of
Yeah.
seeing everything that was happening with all of these small companies just like got me so excited. And right away just felt like, okay, this is the place that I need to be. And it's been really awesome sharing a space with like Badiah
Yeah.
and with Tech Thursday and being able to like work closely with companies that are at like a similar stage to you.
Hmm.
It makes it feel like your resource pool is a lot bigger than just the four people that we have
Oh,
working
yeah.
at Purelend, right?
Hmm.
So we can like swap stories and help each other when we're solving technical problems and things like that. So it's
Yeah.
created this really cool like collaborative environment of small companies that just like feels amazing to be part of for sure.
I love it. I'm fully remote, and I got here about an hour before everybody else this morning, and I was just poking around. I'm like, I miss the office. Never thought I'd be saying that, but I just think, to your point, like I could tap on someone's shoulder to help me solve a problem who's just in the space. And it's just out of their own goodwill because we share the space and we're at the same phase and we're elbow to elbow and in it together.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
You can feel the energy for sure.
Yeah.
It's an exciting place to be, definitely.
It's awesome. Well, Sebastien, this has been a total pleasure. I can't thank you enough for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.